hope you're all well. I have been dying to talk to you about my knitting in 2022. I had a fantastic knitting year. It was, I think I learned a lot about what I like to knit with and more what I like to wear. I completely fell in love with mohair. I think it started in the back end of 2021 when I knitted my first 5 love notes. Love note is everyone knows the love note sweater. It's knitted top down with lovely lace work on the yoke, and it's knitted with 4-ply and mohair held together. And I think I knitted 3 for myself and 2 for my daughter, and I just fell in love with that open gauge and the texture, and I've been knitting with mohair ever since. In the summer I did knit with Aran weight yarn for a little while, but I found that I haven't actually worn any of those jumpers or cardigans. I just find it too heavy, too suffocating for British weather anyway. We did have a very hot summer and we haven't had a very cold winter yet. We did have a cold snap, but I was absolutely fine layering up during those days and weeks that we had a cold snap. But I'm just dying to show you what I've knitted. This isn't everything. I just wanted to show you what my favourites from 2022 are and what remains in my wardrobe. This is jumper and cardigan wise, this is everything that remains in my wardrobe. I have knitted an awful lot more, but I've either given them away or I've sold them. For some reason they just didn't come out of my wardrobe, and I have a very small wardrobe and I just want to keep in there what I actually wear. I don't tend to hold on to things that don't come out. I've also knitted for my daughter, but I'm not going to show you those on this video. And all my knits are on Ravelry. Another thing that I've been enjoying so much this year is the Ravelry community. Seeing other people's projects, colours, yarn choices, how knits actually fit on different body types and different sizes. It's just been a revelation, and I've tried to contribute to that as much as I can by posting all my knits there, progress of my knitting, what alterations I've made. If I forget to mention or forget the names of the items I've knitted, they are all on my Ravelry page, which I will link in below. I have knitted a lot, so there's a lot of scrolling through. Right, I will start. This is probably my favourite knit this year. This is the Farmhouse cardigan by Savoury Knitting. And I knitted this earlier in the summer. I got some gift vouchers for a snuffle bean yarn from my partner for my birthday in May, and I bought loads of Navita 7 Brothers Aran weight yarn, which I love to knit with. It holds so many memories for me. My mum always used to knit with that yarn. I love the smell of it. It just brings back so many memories. But unfortunately, I don't tend to wear it. So I knitted this Farmhouse cardigan in the grey colourway, but I never wore it. And just before Christmas, I went to on a little yarn shop crawl with my friend, and we bought quite a few cones of yarn. And I bought this brown 4-ply yarn. It's 100% British wool. And then I bought quite a nasty mohair. It's got a very high acrylic content, and I prefer more mohair and silk content. But I fell in love with the colour, and it is very, very hairy. I love it. So this was probably one of my first knits. This is supposed to be knit with Aran weight yarn, and I knitted it with 4-ply and mohair held together at a very loose gauge. I got gauge, and I don't know if you can see, it is very, very see-through. It is so warm and airy and easy to wear. I just love it. When I finished knitting it, I wore it for a few days. I was away for Christmas, and when I came back, I just put it in the bath, left it there overnight in about that much water for the British wool. I was hoping that it would really bloom and fill in the gaps with the mohair, and it did. It is just exactly how I imagined. In fact, I got some Wool Warehouse vouchers for Christmas, and I've already spent them. I've bought some navy drops, one of the 4-ply yarns, drops Flora, and then drops Kid Silk mohair, also in navy. Perfect colour match. They came yesterday, and I'm planning to cast this one on in navy as well. It's nearly finished because I haven't put the I haven't got buttons yet. I don't quite know what buttons to put on, so that's why I need to look in my button box if I've got some there. But I would quite like it to be quite low key. I was even thinking about clear acrylic buttons, so that it sort of just blends in. This time I follow the pattern all the way to the T with measurements, number of stitches cast on, but I forgot to stop making the buttonholes. So I've got buttonholes going all the way up here, but with the mohair being so fluffy and the British wool has filled in all the gaps, you can't really tell where the buttonhole stops. So I will probably use this one as my last one, and I think it will be lovely to wear buttoned up. But I've just been wearing it open pretty much every day since I made it, and I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna knit another one. I've definitely got a shortage of cardigans in my wardrobe. This is the only one, in fact. I did knit some cardigans in the summer, but they were all in the Aran weight yarn, and I've either gifted or sold them because they just didn't come out of my wardrobe. And when we came back from the yarn crawl, I knitted this camisole. It's by My Favourite Things Knitwear. I will link all these below because I'm terrible remembering what they are. It's a V-neck with I-cord edging around the edges and at the bottom, and it's supposed to be a V-neck at the back as well, but I altered it because I knitted this to wear as a layering piece to keep warm in the shop. I have a shop, and I like to keep the door open, and it does get cold in there, so I wanted to knit a really warm base layer basically, and I think this came out absolutely perfect. It could be a little bit wider at the back here to cover my bra straps, but I don't intend to ever wear it like this on its own. This is knitted with cones from Uppingham Yarns as well, and this was the most expensive 4-ply I bought. It's merino mix, and it is so soft. It is just heavenly. I think I weighed this, but I need to sort of cost it to see how much this costs, because it didn't take that much yarn. Again, I hold it together with mohair from Uppingham Yarns, and I just love it. I washed it, I blocked it. I think actually I just hung it on a hanger because I felt that it was a little bit too short. So I just, after washing and spinning it, I tend to, if I hand wash, I'll squeeze everything really dry, and then I put it in the washing machine in the spin cycle only on a 1400 rate per minute spin, so they come out pretty dry and evenly dry. And I think this one I just hung on that on a hanger from our skylights. That I find that the best place to dry is with the skylights slightly open and hanging from there. And I just wanted a little bit of extra length, and I think it's just about okay now. This is not a high waist skirt, but I normally wear high waist jeans, so I could tuck it in quite easily, but it doesn't add any extra bulk in there. I'm wearing this skirt today. I bought it from my pre-love shop just before Christmas, and I haven't really had a chance to wear it. And I thought today's the day. I'm freshly showered, Christmas trees put away, the house is all tidy and ready for the new year. And the house is quiet. It's not very often quiet on a Sunday. I've got a little bit of time on my own, so I thought I'll put my nice skirt on. We'll have Sunday dinner later this afternoon, so why not? I'll put a nice skirt on. So yeah, this is a lovely base layer. I would highly recommend this this pattern, but like I said, I just altered the back so that it comes all the way to keep my back warm in the shop. I've also knit, I want to show you a couple of pairs of socks. I am wearing these. I saw these knitted up at Yarndale. In this yarn, it's a free pattern, and the details are on my Ravelry. Absolutely love it. I love the yarn, love the construction. I normally knit toe up, and these are top down, but I love the heel. They fit very well, and I wear these all the time, so I would definitely knit these again. Yeah, they're quite dressy really, because they've got lovely lace work, but with the yarn being so dark and a little bit multicolored, it's hard to see the pattern. And I think I will knit these in plain black. I think they will look lovely in plain black. I'm knitting quite a few. This is new to me. Quite a few socks this autumn and winter with 4-ply and mohair held together. I came across another free knitting pattern on Ravelry called the Indulgent Socks, and that's the pattern. Is top down, knitted with 4-ply and mohair held together, but I knitted this toe up. I just used the stitch counts from those socks, and I did an afterthought heel by the looks of things. I've washed these, I've worn these. These have been washed in the washing machine. Most of my knits I wash in the washing machine. I'm a little bit lazy, but I have recently found a very easy way to wash knits in the bath, so I have started doing that more. But socks, they go in the washing machine, and there's quite a bit of pilling on the top of the heel here, but apart from that, I think they have worn pretty well. I haven't de-pilled anything. Everything is as it came out of my wardrobe when I pulled them all out just before. So those were the socks. This is the most recent finished objects, and this is the second time I've knitted it. It is a lovely top down raglan sweater, and it's in broken rib, which I love. I do like fisherman's rib and half fisherman's rib, but I think they're a little bit too heavy, a little bit too thick, but this is, you get a very similar effect, but without it being too thick. I'll link this on the notes below. Oh, this smells lovely. This is just straight out from the wash. I wore this quite a bit in Finland. I haven't actually tried this on since I've washed it. And again, this is knitted in 100% British wool, held with mohair. And I wore this quite a lot before blocking it. And I was hoping that it would lengthen a bit. And it did say in a pattern that normally this broken rib stretches about 3 centimeters after washing, but I wasn't sure if that would happen, because I have read that it's mostly superwash yarn that stretches, but this isn't superwash yarn. This is 100% wool, but it has stretched exactly that, I feel. It is so comfortable to wear. Again, I will probably wear it with my high-waisted jeans, tucks in. I think it's a lovely fit, and I love this wide 11 stitch raglan detail. There is one dodgy stitch there. I don't quite know what happened, and it is right there, but I will learn to live with it. It's got little neps, little flecks all the way through, so if you didn't look at that stitch, I don't think you would ever notice. But yeah, it's love it. I think I will wear this an awful lot with a probably white t-shirt underneath, or a cami, not with a grey one. But yeah, another lovely jumper. Really enjoyed knitting that. I just wanted to cast on, I think I cast this on Christmas Eve, and I just wanted something simple to knit that I could knit while I was chatting to people. And because I had already knit this once before, I sort of got into the rhythm straight away. It was very easy to knit, but it was a little bit more than just knitting all the time. Every other row is knit and purl, so it's the same as the cardigan. The cardigan's knit flat, but this jumper is knit in the round, but it's exactly the same stitch pattern. And I think this is my favourite stitch of the year. This one was the first one, and just before Christmas I remember wearing it to the shop because I thought this is the least worn jumper in my wardrobe, and I don't know why, because I really do like it, but it just doesn't seem to come out. And when I was wearing it, I got so many compliments saying, oh, I do like that jumper, it's beautiful. And it is, but for some reason I have got 13, 14 other jumpers and cardigans to wear, so it just seemed to be left in the back of the wardrobe. But this is knit in superwash yarn, and I'm knitted the same size, but it is slightly bigger, so I think it probably is true that superwash yarn does stretch a little bit more, because the white one comes about there, unless I haven't quite knitted to measurements, because it's all measured by the number of stripes on the pattern, and that was plain, so I might have lost count. But yeah, this is, I think this might have been my favourite things knitwear as well, or Petite knit. I love both of their patterns. And these yarns were from Yarndale in September. And then there's some drops kid silk mohair held together with 4-ply. But the 4-plies were from Yarndale and the mohair from Wool Warehouse. This is one of the first jumpers I knit this year. It's really hard to see which one's back and which one's front. I think that's the back. I don't think I put any short rows on this one. I had knitted the love note towards the end of the previous year in this brown. This is Malabrigo 4-ply, and again drops kid silk mohair held together. And I had it just goes on forever. So I had all this yarn left, so I decided to knit this jumper with it, and it was really tricky. Or is it the other one? One of these colourwork jumpers, I think it is this one. At times you need to hold 3 different strands of yarn, 3 different colours. The only couple of rows, yeah, is this one. But you're holding mohair with every one of those, so you're holding 6 strands of yarn. And I had this little knitting gauge, knitting thimble that a friend of mine bought for me from America a few years ago, and that I couldn't have done it without it. It has 3 little catches. You can put the 3 strands of, or 2 strands of each yarn in each catch, and then you knit away. And I couldn't have done it without it. It was very tricky. But again, this one hasn't come out of my wardrobe that much. I think it probably did this time last year when it was newly made and brand new. But I really do love it. I just maybe gone off of colour work a little. I prefer plainer knits with texture. I think that's all it is. But I think it fits beautifully. Again, I will probably tuck it in my jeans. Yeah, it's lovely. And again, this has been washed in the machine. Hasn't been depilled, but I think when you're knitting with mohair, somehow the mohair strengthens the fabric, I feel. They don't really pill that much. I think this looks pretty good. I have worn this a lot, and I probably wash my knits a little bit too much, to be honest. They do sometimes probably do with an airing rather than washing. But there we are. This is my I love this this jumper. This is the Shawn sweater. I saw this at Yarndale on the Saturday. Me and my friend spotted this. I think Debbie spotted this jumper first and completely fell in love with it. But for some reason we didn't do anything about it on Saturday. We went back to that stall on the Sunday and couldn't see this sweater anywhere. So we asked the ladies who were on the stall, saying we saw this gorgeous jumper, a little bit different. It wasn't stranded colour work, it was a little bit different. And both ladies opened their coats and they were both wearing this jumper. It was just fantastic. It was quite fun. It was a lovely experience. And we both straight away bought the pattern and then knitted it in the coming weeks. I had some black yarn from the Farmhouse. It was a Harriet Farms alpaca fine or something like that, and then I had some grey mohair that I bought at Yarndale as well. And I felt that the original pattern had a little bit of it wasn't a solid black, and I felt that my black was too solid, so I didn't want to hold it together with black mohair. And I just love it how it came out. Again, I haven't worn this an awful lot, but now that I put it on, I'm thinking, why have I not worn this? It's all just slip stitches, brioche knitting, and it's very effective. It's easy to knit, it's easy to remember, easy to follow, and I think it's very, very effective. Yeah, I do really do like this, and it's so soft. Again, this has been washed and there isn't any pilling on it really. Yes, it's washed beautifully. I have weaved all the ends in and all of these jumpers. If there's any ends poking out when I take them off and put them on, they're probably just the ones that I haven't snipped off. So there might be a few hanging about there. This is another colour work jumper from the beginning of this year. I think I'm actually wearing this on my Ravelry user photo. I was so proud when I finished this. I think this was my first experiment using mohair and 4-ply in a pattern that should have been a DK or Aran weight in a solid yarn. And so I was just so proud of that revelation. And this grey yarn, the 4-ply, I was so disappointed with. I had bought it to knit something else. It's Navita Wendler 4-ply yarn. It's Navita's thin sock yarn, if you like. And I had started knitting something else, and the stitch definition was just awful. I had knitted with it before, but I had forgotten. I don't think I was using Ravelry like I use it like now, so I hadn't written any notes about it. But yeah, I was so unhappy with the stitch definition. I think I was just knitting socks with it, but it was just so uneven. But holding it together with Drops Kid Silk, I think that's fine. Again, there is one dodgy stitch there. I don't quite know what's happened. I think I've but it's under your wrist there. But yes, a lovely pattern. I love the colour, but I just haven't been wearing colour work as much as I would like. But I think this will be coming out with some blue jeans quite a lot in the coming weeks. And I've got a lovely dark greyish black shawl. Absolutely love it. The Sunday shawl. I haven't got it with me here. I've worn that so much. My sister gave me some hand-dyed Aran Weight Novita Seven Brothers yarn, and some of the colours I wasn't that keen on, so I thought I'll have a little go at dyeing yarn, which I did, and I dyed it black, and it is beautiful. I just absolutely love it, and it's in my favourite yarn that I don't like to wear though normally, but that shawl I love to wear, and I think it goes with just about everything I've got in my wardrobe. It's very, very dark slate grey, but it's not perfectly. I've dyed it, and I've dyed yarns that were dyed before, so that it's quite uneven, but it is beautiful, and I enjoy knitting it. Although on the edge of the shawl it is huge, the wingspan is huge, and there's lots and lots of bubbles. But it wasn't too bad. I just sat down for one evening and knitted all the bubbles. I think I got them done in one evening, and it is lovely to wear with this. Yeah, this will be coming out lots more. And again, this has been washed a lot, and there's hardly any pilling. I really do think it's the magic of mohair, because I've knitted quite a few jumpers for my daughter without mohair, and I think they pills an awful lot. I did try to shave one of my jumpers once, but I don't know how you do it, because nothing happened, so I'll have to give that another go. This jumper was a jumper that I wanted to knit like a sweatshirt, that I can just wear like a sweatshirt. And this is a lovely DK yarn from Yarndale again, held together with mohair. So this is one of my thickest jumpers. I've got two like this when I've held DK and mohair together. I went completely wrong with it's a raglan top down jumper, but I did the raglan increases completely wrong. They're not supposed to be like this. Hopefully I wrote down on my Ravelry what I actually did, but I rather like it. There's like a stitch goes across the seam, and I just carried on. Whatever I did, it wasn't supposed to be like that, but that's how I did it. And this is so soft, and it fits just like a sweatshirt. And then with the leftovers of this yarn, I started knitting the eclair pullover by the lady who runs Beautiful Knitters in London. I went there in October and completely fell in love with her eclair pullover. I started knitting it for myself with this yarn, but very quickly I realised I didn't have enough, so I knitted it for my daughter, and she wears it all the time. I did it, it's sleeveless, there's a little slit at the sides. It's so easy to wear, just with a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. It's lovely. You can put it on on top of a dress, and I'm planning to knit one of those for myself. But in the meanwhile, I'll be wearing this, and this has got a lot of wear out. It's one of my simplest jumpers, but it's I really like the neckline, just the simplicity of it. It's got some short rolls at the back, so it's a little bit long at the back, and I think it fits beautifully. And again, it's just long enough to tuck in but not have any bulk when you tuck it in. And this one definitely has some ends left to snip. To be honest, looking at that, that's not even weaved in. No, it's that one. So the armpits are still left to finish off, but I have washed this a few times already. And again, there's a little bit of pilling in the armpits where your arm rubs against your body, but I think it's very, very minimal. Oh, another revelation this year for me has been tubular cast on and tubular cast off. I just love the how professional and finished it looks, and I think it shows on, especially when you knit with thicker yarns, it really shows so beautifully. And this is one of lovely example. It just looks so finished. I love it. So that's my grey sweatshirt jumper. And then this jumper is the caramel sweater by Petite knit. Again, this is hard to find which one's the, I think that's the front, and then there's some short rows at the back. Oh no, that's the front, I think. I need to put some markers on these so that I know which way around they go. This is yarn from the Wool Mouse at the Yarndale, and mohair cone that I bought from 80 Skeins of Yarn at Yarndale, and it created this beautiful, stunning, it's like very dark sunflower or tobacco colour. It's just got a lovely colour variation. Nice sleeves. It's a little bit oversized. I'm not one for wearing oversized jumpers normally. I used to be quite a bit bigger. About this time last year I lost 3 stone, and I always used to wear quite fitted clothes because I felt like if I wore something bigger it made me look even bigger. But now that I'm a little bit smaller, 3 stone smaller, I feel more comfortable wearing oversized clothes and enjoy them more. I have worn this a lot. I like to wear this with my with the dress I made, the dress that everyone's made. It looks really nice with it, and also with jeans. It's got a nice long ribbed cuffs, and this was my jumper to finish to go to London to meet my friends and to go yarn shopping with in October. And I got it just finished. I didn't block it. I remember just steam blocking the collar. And if I knit this again, I would knit it with a little bit sturdier 4-ply, because this is alpaca mix from Harriet Farms, if I remember right. It is on my Ravelry page. And I just feel that this collar collapses. In the pictures it stays up. I could put some elastic there and hopefully that would help it to stay up. But I quite like it, how it falls. But I think if I knit it again, I would want that look that was on the pattern page. And I think that was probably knitted with 100% wool, that a little bit more rustic wool, but I would have to check on that, or merino wool anyway. But this is so soft, and again nice and light, but still very warm, just how I like my jumpers nowadays. Yeah, and again I have now washed this. I washed this in the bath. I put about 4 inches of water in the bath. I used Eucalyptus wool wash, put the jumper in there, make sure that it's completely covered, leave it for a couple of hours, and I just go and poke about throughout that time, and then I squeeze all the water out from it, and then I put it in the washing machine just to spin it dry. And then I normally dry my knits flat on, I got a Pringle that I hang from my skylight, and they dry here ever so quickly. So that's what I normally do. So that is my caramel sweater by Petite Knit, I believe. So yeah, it's a lovely soft jumper, and I do love this colour. I have gone completely neutral with my colours this year. I used to be quite used to wear quite bright colours. My partner used to call it Europop, my colours. This is my Lentil sweater. I knitted this around just after Easter, I think. Oh no, it was much later. My niece started knitting her Lentil at Easter while I was in Finland. that's why I keep thinking it wasn't Easter, but no, she started hers. This is DK and mohair held together, and you can probably see that there is 2 colour lots in this jumper. I don't know whether it's the Novita, Nalle, DK or the mohair, but there is a very prominent line. But to be honest, where it is, I think it looks like it is part of the design. It's just there. It's not like one of the sleeves is different colour. It's just the top part, because it's a top down sweater. It's absolutely fine. And loved knitting this. This is so quick to knit. It just flew off the needles, and this is when this might have been the first jumper that I did the tubular cast off with. It's got a folded collar, and I really do like a folded collar. It sits beautifully. It's got some short rolls at the back. There is a learning curve. There was a learning curve with this jumper, and I'll show that to you now. I used a plastic lockable stitch marker, one of those cheap stitch markers that we all have, to mark the beginning of the row, and it stretched the stitch here, and you can, I thought it would block out, but it hasn't blocked out. I think I noticed that at some point and took it out, so it's from there to there, there's a stretched stitch. So I now, if I mark pattern repeat or beginning of the row, I use a very thin stitch marker now, because I realised that that's what it can create. But apart from that, it sits so well. It is a very good fit. The raglan increases are beautiful, and it's lovely yarn, and this is Novita and Nalle. And there's absolutely no pilling on it that I can see, that bothers me. Magic of mohair again. Yeah, love it. Wear it a lot. This is probably, if I can't decide what to wear, I wear that jumper. This, when I finished this, I was so proud. This is by Petite knit. And what's this called again? It will come back to me, hopefully. I was so proud of knitting this. Unfortunately, I've folded it in the wardrobe, so there's a fold in the middle. It's a new construction for me. It's top down, but it's not raglan or it's not a round yoke. And I didn't know if a drop shoulder would suit me. But I really love it. This is knitted in King Cole DK 100% merino that Chucky, who stocks in my shop, sells in my shop. And I just think for DK held on its own, it has washed so well. It is machine washable. I put it in the washing machine, and there's just an end. Let me pop that on the back. There's just an end of a strand poking out there. That's better. But yeah, I was so proud of this. I knitted it to the pattern. I wasn't quite sure about the colour to start with, but it is so lovely and cozy. It is a big jumper. It's oversized jumper, but it fits so well. There's something magical about the design, the amount of short rows that you do on the shoulders and on the sleeves, that it just fits so well. I used, if I remember right, I used 14 balls, 14 50-gram balls for this, so it's very heavy. Goes against what I've just been saying about light and airy jumpers, but I think we all need a solid jumper sometimes, and I do wear this a lot. Yeah, it's very nice. I love it so much that I knitted the second one quite recently. because I saw a mohair held with 4-ply version on Instagram, and I would have never considered knitting this much texture with 4-ply and mohair. I thought that the mohair would hide all the texture and all the hard work would just disappear into the mohair. But I saw, I think it was exactly the same colour. I think her username on Instagram is Red Riding Hat, and she had knitted this in the exactly same colour, and as it happened, I had the same colours in my yarn cupboard, so I just had to cast on immediately. And none of the textures lost in the mohair, but this is lovely and light. It is so much lighter than this one, but I have to say I love both equally. They've got their differences. When I was knitting the sleeves on this one, for some reason I thought that they weren't long enough, so I knitted them double the length. I knitted the ribbing double the length what it should be. Yeah, there's about that much extra because I thought that they just didn't look long enough, and they're far too long. But I really like it. I like it when it's cold and you're wearing it under a coat and your hands are covered still with the jumper. But I normally fold it. I just fold it and it gives you extra warmth around the wrists when you're working on a computer or working in the shop, or even when I'm knitting. I feel like it gives you that extra warmth that you need around your wrists. So it works out perfectly. Absolutely love it. Yeah, it's there's quite a few designs that I've knitted twice this year, and this is my one of my absolute favourites. And I think this might be my first Petite knit pattern that I knitted. One of the first ones anyway, and I've completely fallen in love with her, how well they fit. I think the caramel sweater is hers as well. They fit so well. There's some magic in the short rows that you put in. Yeah, really good fit. And this looks complicated. There's nothing complicated about it. The only thing when you do some short rows, when you first start it, I got my left and right mixed up. So that was the only bit that was difficult. Not difficult, but I very soon realised what I had done wrong, but I just got my left and right mixed up. I'm normally good with my left and right, but not on this occasion. I think it happened with both of them. It was something to do with right at the top when he first starts. But I just had to pull back a few rows and start again. It was in the moss stitch, double moss stitch there. Yeah, it's just stunning jumper. Yeah, I might wear this today actually. I don't know. I'm sort of falling in love with all of these now after taking them out and talking about them and remembering the process. Yeah, there's a lot of emotions attached to these. But yeah, here's another one of my favourites. I've just got 2 left. These are in no particular order at all. It's just how they came out of the wardrobe, went on the bed. But these are, I discovered Kutowakika on YouTube sometime this year, and I just love her podcast. She's so energetic, so positive, very just beautiful, and I love her design. So I bought her ebook called Knit This, and I've already knitted 2 jumpers from it. This was the second one. This is the Ivy sweater, and this feels very thick. What did I knit? I think I held 2 strands of 4-ply. I can't remember. It'll be on my Ravelry, but it is thicker than my others. I'll have to check why. But yeah, it's thicker than my others, maybe 2 strands of mohair. And it's got lovely balloon sleeves. You basically don't do any decreases. Or that's how I did it anyway. I didn't quite follow the pattern on this occasion. But I knitted it just straight and then did some very quick decreases before the cuffs. And I feel very dressy in this. I've worn this out for a meal with my skirt actually. And I felt very dressy. I think it's the sleeves that make you feel so dressy. And the texture is top down, folded collar. Yeah, I do love folded collar. And then what I did was I put some short rows in the collar to make it a little bit longer at the back. I don't think those were in a pattern, could be wrong. And then from just when the patterning finishes, I knitted 1 short row and I knitted it inside out because this is, you're supposed to have stockinette stitch from here down, but I felt that because there's a lot of purl stitches in between the patterning, I just did a short row and switch. I was basically turn it to knitting in inside out, and then I did another short row at the bottom and then knitted the ribbing the right way around. Hopefully that makes sense. And I did the same with the sleeves, so I didn't do hardly any purling. It's all knitted inside out. There was I did make a little bit of a boo-boo because of the short rows. Yeah, they weren't in the pattern. I added the short rows and I assumed that the beginning of the round was in the middle of the pattern. To be honest, I didn't assume. I didn't even think about it. But when I got to splitting for the sleeves, I realised that this middle section isn't quite in the middle. So what I have to do is ever so slightly move it so that it's in the middle. It's probably 3 stitches out. But yeah, I didn't think about when I added the short rows what consequences it had. So if I knitted this again or added short rows, I don't know if it would be better to do provisional cast on and then knit the collar up so that your short rows will be definitely in the centre. But it's luckily it's just a couple of stitches out, but I love it. Yeah, now I have worn it quite a lot. It feels so dressy and I feel quite finished, and yeah, lovely wearing it. It's very warm. It's either looking at it, I think it's the mohair held double and 4-ply held single, because it was a thicker yarn that I have in my stash. I think it was supposed to be DK and mohair held together, so I thought that if I held 1 strand of 4-ply and 2 strands of mohair, I would get the gauge, which I did, which was quite lucky. And this lace work is so easy. You can actually, I'm not a very experienced lace work knitter, but with this pattern you see where you are and you sort of already know what's coming on the next row. Yeah, it just, I love it. Might knit another one of these and get this section in the middle. That'll be my challenge. And I might knit it to pattern and have the stockinette stitch at the bottom here, so that I might do actually to the pattern. But the first knit I knitted from Kosovo Kickers, I knit this ebook, was the Dirty Caramel Sweater. This sweater is actually on the cover of the book, and I just instantly fell in love with the colours. I've been saying to you, I haven't been into colour work this year, but there was something about this jumper that I just fell in love with. It went quite badly wrong. Wool Warehouse had a huge sale this year, and I bought a lorry load full of Drops Charisma. I had bought a ball of it to knit hand warmers for my daughter, but I don't think I ever finished them. I just bought one ball, one from someone's D-stash in my shop. But when I knitted this collar, I realised I didn't love it. It was too heavy. It was too plasticky. I just didn't love it. This jumper is supposed to be, I've swapped the colours, but the main colour is supposed to be orange, if I remember right, but I just couldn't bring myself to knit it in this DK held single. So I had already planned to do all the other colours 4-ply held with mohair. But to be honest, when I'm wearing it, I like it. It's nice and warm round the neck, and then rest of the jumper is nice and light and airy. These are mostly colours that I bought in Yarndale, and some sock yarn that I bought from Pearlisons when I ordered some Chalgoo needles, and I just needed to get over the free postage limit. And I think there's some yarn from Beautiful Knitters in London as well. So there's loads of lovely memories of yarn shopping this year when we've been able to shop in real yarn shops. And with the drops charisma being an exception that I wasn't happy with, and that was the first time I actually sent all of it back. I've never returned yarn before, but I thought, I don't love this. My time's precious. I love to enjoy my knitting, but I didn't enjoy it. I have actually got some of it left that I had already started ball, so I am knitting something with it at the moment. But and I'm not hating it, but I'm not loving it. I want to love what I knit. But anyway, again, I put some short rows at the back in the ribbing, which I learned from the Metamorphic sweater by Andrea Mowry, and I think that's a really nice place to put short rows in, especially when you have colour work. You sort of don't mess up the colour work, or you don't have loads of stockinette stitch here and it looks a bit odd. Yeah, love that. Again, it's got big balloon sleeves. I can't remember if this was exactly to the pattern, but yeah, it's beautiful. I would highly recommend everyone to knit this. Again, it's very easy colour work. My row gauge was completely out with this one, completely out. I think I talked about it before. We might have had a chat about it before. I think I've just knitted 2 sections of the collar work, and it has got a third section as well. And the collar work is supposed to go beyond splitting for the sleeves. But when I had knitted the third section, my sleeves would have started from here. For some reason, my rows were really, really tall, but my stitch gauge was right, so I couldn't understand it. The only way I could fix it, I frocked it back to this bit, split for the sleeves, and knitted the stockinette. I couldn't really thoroughly understand what went wrong, but it's lovely. It's worked out beautifully. And again, it's mostly 4-ply held together with mohair, apart from the charisma on the top, but it works so well. It works so well. It's so nice and warm here, but in exactly where I need the extra warmth, especially when I'm in the shop. I'm against a big window, and there's always a bit of a cold draft from it, so it's nearly like wearing a shawl or a scarf. And these sleeves, oh, they're just so lovely. Yeah, so that's all my favourite knits in my wardrobe at the moment. I've got quite a few pairs of socks that I wear as well, but these 2 are my the favourite ones that always come out if they're not in the washing basket. And this year I've started knitting lots of mittens for my daughter. Over Christmas she lost 3 mittens. I have actually put them on a string now on her coat, but I knitted these. When I've just got a little bit of yarn left, I put them in the yarn bowl, and I started using up all my DK weight, and there's a little bit of Aran weight here as well. These are the the world's simplest mittens by Think and Knit, and they are, after you knit a couple of pairs, it's very, they're so easy to knit, very quick to knit, and I just used up all the yarn that I had left. These are mostly yarn left from my daughter's Christmas jumper. She wanted a pink and red Christmas jumper, and these are the colours left from here. And I also bought some yarn in Finland. I knitted her more mittens because she kept losing them while we were on holiday. And there's a little bit of that yarn left here. So I've nearly used up all my scraps. Starting a new year, getting rid of all the scraps, that just felt like the right thing to do, and very useful. She's got another pair of mittens that will hopefully last a bit longer than the last three. But these aren't on a string, but she has got a pair on a string on her coat. And this morning, this was some of my needles at the moment. I just had a quick look on Instagram, as you do, and the first thing that came up was Robin Hat or Robin Beanie by Sari Nordlund. I absolutely adore her cable jumper patterns, but I just haven't plucked up the courage to knit one yet. I just don't think I can follow many different charts at the moment, so you just need to be in the right headspace for that. But when this came up, this is something completely different, not a cable inside here, and this is a hat that is knitted top down, fully ribbed hat. It's got a very interesting cast on, that when you finish it, you can pull it all in, and it'll just be completed then. I've done all the increases. I don't know if you can see them there. I finished all the increases, and now I'm just knitting and purling until I run out of yarn, basically. I've never knitted a hat top down before, and I think that is just brilliant idea, because you can just knit, you can try it on, you can knit until you run out of yarn, you can knit until you can't be bothered with it anymore. You can just keep knitting. If it's a little bit shorter or longer, you can just have the fold shorter or longer, or a lot of people are knitting their Musselburgh hat, and I think that started top down. It is double layered, so it is knitted as a tube and then decreased at the other end, and then one end folded on inside the other one. But I just really wanted to use up this Drops Charisma DK yarn, and when the pattern came up on my Instagram feed, I thought that right, that's the one to knit, and I think it will look quite nice with this jumper with some black jeans. I think it'll look quite nice. So hopefully I'll be wearing it in not very far future. Quite a few people have asked me to show you how I knit. Is I'm a continental knitter, or it might even be called Nordic knitting. Hopefully you can see. I can't see what you can see, so hopefully you can see this. I'm a picker, so I pick the knit stitches through the stitch on the needle, and then I pick the yarn and twist it round the stitch to make a purl stitch. So this is knit 2 purl 2, and this is what I'm planning to do today. I haven't got any great big plans for today, so I'm just gonna enjoy some knits and purls. And I think my next knit will be another Farmhouse cardigan in navy. I was just about to cast it on, to be honest, but then I saw this hat and I thought I'll get this yarn out of my stash. But that's all from me today. Hopefully you've had an amazing knitting year. I've had the best knitting year ever last year. You will see all my projects on Ravelry. They haven't all been successful, but I've enjoyed the process and the learning curve so much. They have been successful as in I'm wearing them, but I've learned from them, and I'm hoping that someone else is wearing them now with pride and keeping warm this winter. But I think I've completely lost the light now, so hopefully you can still see me. But if not, I will see you better next time. Bye.